St. Joasaph of Belgorod September 1705 – the 10th of December 1754, was an 18th-century holy hierarch, Bishop of Belgorod from 1748 until his death, glorified by the Eastern Orthodox Church in 1911. Early life. Born at Prokudin, in the province of Poltava, Joachim Gorlenko was the son of Colonel Andrei Dmitrievich Gorlenko of the Prokudin regiment by his marriage to Maria Danilovna, a daughter of Danilo Apostol, who was a significant military leader and hetman of the Cossack hetmanate from 1727 until his death. After attending the Kiev Theological Academy in 1725, the young Gorlenko was donchered a monk of the Mikhaylovich monastery, under the name of Hilarion. Career and miracles. In 1727 Hilarion took monastic vows and received the name of Joasaph, and in 1728 he was ordained a deacon. By the end of that academic year he was teaching at the academy. In 1737 he was appointed abbot of the Mhar monastery near Lubny. In 1744, by command of the Empress Elizabeth, Joasaph was advanced to the rank of archimandrite and translated to become head of the Trinity Lavra of St. Sergei, the most important Russian monastery and the spiritual center of the Russian Orthodox Church. On the 2nd of June 1748 he was consecrated as Bishop of Belgorod and Oboyanska. After his arrival in Belgorod, Joasaph was noted for his untiring efforts for his diocese and especially for his work to help those in need, often visiting the poor and the sick. He died on the 10th of December 1754, aged only 49, at a village named Grivoron. On the 15th of December his body was taken from there to Belgorod and was placed in his Holy Trinity Cathedral. Not until the 28th of February 1755 was the coffin transferred to a crypt in the cathedral which had been made on Joasaph's orders. Some years later his body was found to be incorrupt. News of this spread, and the sick began to visit the coffin of Joasaph, many reporting cures. The miraculous power of Joasaph's relics became known throughout Russia, and every year more people came to Belgorod to seek the help. Joasaph thus gained the aura of a saint, and portraits of him became popular. In 1883 the Holy Trinity Cathedral became a monastery cathedral, and a series of requests for Joasaph's glorification began to be made. Finally, in 1910, Tsar Nicholas II asked the Holy Synod to glorify Joasaph as a saint, which it agreed to do. On the 4th of September 1911 the glorification was celebrated in the Holy Trinity Cathedral, Belgorod, attended by more than 200,000 people, many of whom had come from all over the Russian Empire and beyond. Before the First World War, Joasaph's relics were greatly venerated and were brought out for the curing of the sick, when great crowds came hoping for a miraculous cure. One who attended such an occasion wrote, "Now, it is hard to imagine that sight. Thousands and thousands of sick, bent, crippled, possessed, and blind people stood and lay on both sides of the road, along which the saints' relics were to be carried." A substantial shrine, made of silver, was created in the Holy Trinity Cathedral. In the summer of 1914, when news came of the Austro-Hungarian monitor bombardment of the Serbian city of Belgrade beginning on the 29th of July 1914, one landowner, Prince Obolensky, spoke stirringly to his peasantry of the need for war, and they reacted enthusiastically. He later learned that his hearers had understood him to mean the Belgorod which held the relics of the recently glorified Joasaph. Loss and return of the relics. After the October Revolution of 1917, the Bolsheviks removed St. Joasaph's remains from his shrine in the cathedral at Belgorod, and for some 70 years the whereabouts remained unknown. In 1927 the Holy Trinity Cathedral itself was demolished. In the late 1980s the remains were discovered in the Museum of the History of Religion and Atheism of the Academy of Sciences of the USSR in Leningrad, and on 16 September 1991 they were solemnly returned to the new Cathedral of the Transfiguration of Our Lord in Belgorod, the occasion being marked by a service in which Patriarch Alexei II took part. The same year, Leningrad returned to its former name of St. Petersburg. Joasaph's name is still revered by the Orthodox faithful, and above all by those from the Ukraine. The feast of the opening of the relics of St. Joasaph, Bishop of Belgorod, is celebrated on 17 September and also on 10 December, the date of his death. Dedications. The Orthodox Church of St. Joasaph in Muddy, Illinois, was built in 1913 and dedicated to the newly consecrated St. Joasaph of Belgorod. The spelling Joasaph was chosen. There is a fellowship of St. Joasaph of Belgorod in Shanghai. In 1912 Ivan Vasilievich Skorodumov was donchered a monk and named Joasaph in honor of the newly glorified St. Joasaph. He later became Archbishop Joasaph of Buenos Aires, Argentina and Paraguay.